What's up, Steeler Nation? Welcome to Mark Lesko Podcast. I am your host, J Rod, and this is Steelers Central. Let's start with the kickoff, shall we? I decided to break down the defense and the offense for the 2025 season. Hopefully this goes pretty well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to really look at what we've got going. So without further ado, let's look at this defense. I entitled this Let's Be the Steel Curtain again because being the highest paid defense in the NFL, they really don't show up in a whole lot of top 10, top 5 numbers. It's ridiculous that this is kind of the point. But looking at this roster, the starter is going to be Derek Harmon, and nose tackles Keanu Benton, right defensive end Cameron Hayward, and weak side linebacker will be T.J. Watt. Left inside linebacker will be Patrick Queen. Right inside linebacker will be Peyton Wilson, and strong linebacker will be Alex Highsmith, and the left cornerback Darius Slay Jr., and strong safety Deshaun Elliott, and free safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, right cornerback Joey Porter Jr., and Beanie Bishop Jr. as your starters. So, I feel like that of all the names that I've just listed, I think Derek Harmon replacing Isaiah Loudermilk is pretty obvious because looking back at his numbers, Loudermilk had, I think, 17 total tackles all season last year. That's not going to cut it for a high-paying defense, for a defense that is known as the Steel Curtain. That will not get you a starting job. So that's why Derek Harmon is now our starter. Now, Yaya Black could be replacing Keanu Benton because if I saw his numbers correctly, he had about 35 total tackles last year, 16 solo. That is just not good enough. But as of right now, he's the starter, so that could be changing. And Cam Hayward, nothing can happen to him. Nothing against Daniel Ayuk, but I don't know how in the world the guy can lose that job. If something happens to him, that's what I'm saying. If he gets hurt, that's a big problem for the defensive end right there. So I know that he is being asked at 36 years old to contribute as he's always has. But as you saw last season, as the season went on, those numbers did go down a little because, again, a full season being that age, we're really going to have to be careful with how they handle him. And naturally, T.J. Watt is T.J. Watt. He is the most important Steeler on the defense. He is as big as it can get. And when you look at all of his numbers, he had kind of a down year. He had 70 total tackles, 30-some solo. I know he had a lot of forced fumbles. I think he had the most in the NFL, 6 of them, and he had 2 recovered. But 11.5 sacks, that was the big downfall because they kept covering him and they kept, holding him. It's both. But they found ways to kind of shut him down. If you look at his numbers last year, he did nothing against the Cincinnati Bengals in the last game of the season, and he did nothing in the postseason. He did not have a single tackle. That's a problem. That's not good preparation. I know he had a lot on his mind. I know he was getting ready for his kid, and I understand that that's a lot to have to deal with, but he was not in these games at all. So that needs to be fixed. Another thing, Patrick Queen. He had a moderate performance last year. I wasn't going to say bad or good. It was just kind of in the middle. I think he had some similar numbers. I think he had about 50, 60 solo tackles. I know he had somewhere in the upper numbers for it. So, he didn't have a terrible year, but at the same time, it wasn't exactly wow, that guy really did come in and take care of business. And Cole Holcomb's an interesting story because he was out for the entire season last season, and he was really contributing in the 2023 year. So I'm not saying that he has a chance to do something to get his job back, but he was really good. So I'll be interested to see how this season goes down with Patrick Queen, if he can up those numbers. And if you just insert both and they both have great years, that's the best case scenario for that. Peyton Wilson, it's kind of a similar story. He had moderate numbers, nothing flashy, but nothing that, oh God, this needs to really pick up. But he, I think, needs to up his numbers a little bit, probably get a couple more solo tackles. But yeah, he was fine. And then you look at Alex Highsmith. Naturally, he's just a beast. He had a pretty decent season last year. I can't remember if I looked up his numbers, but I always expect Alex just to be kind of right there with guys like TJ and Cameron and Patrick. So I always count on him to just do his job on that side. Now, Darius Slay, this is interesting. I looked his numbers up. He had 16 passes defended. 16 last year at the age of 33. Wow. That is about as good as you're going to get with his style play, especially at corner. And then you look at guys like Joey Porter Jr. I know last year he had 7. So he had more than double what Joey had. So it's very important that Darius Slay stay on track with that. Again, being an older guy, I don't think that's going to completely slow him down, but it's important that those numbers show up again for this season. Deshaun Elliott, I mean, you talk about having a performance. I know he had like 70, 80 solo tackles, and he had like 100 some total. Like, yeah, he put in the work and he got his extension. I'm very happy to see that, and he definitely earned that. So he's definitely earned the strong safety position. Minkah, again, these last few years have really been kind of the where in the world is Minkah Fitzpatrick kind of show. I mean, they've just been constantly putting him outside. I don't really care for being that free. I mean, you're a free safety, but you don't need to be that free. You don't need to be completely outside of the entire gameplay, 80 some yards down the field. It's ridiculous how far off he is in the position. So that needs to be cleaned up. But having a guy like Deshaun Elliott really solidifies his position, and I just hope they start putting him in a better position to be better. Fitzpatrick needs to be Fitzpatrick. If they're going to have a chance of being that type of steel curtain again, that kind of position needs to be cleared up completely. And naturally, Beta Bishop ends this. He absolutely had a fantastic year. Again, four forced fumbles. I think he had just as many pass defended as Joey. So, yeah, he's absolutely, I think, earned the right to do that. So you hear all these names, and this is a potential steel curtain for sure. The last time we could say that completely was probably the 2008-2009 years when they were the Super Bowl team. It's been a while since I've seen this team earn like top 5, top 10 numbers. And with this particular lineup, that sounds like that could be the case. Now, again, if you look at the second strings before I move into the offense, like Yahya Black, again, Nick Herbig, Cole Holcomb, Corey Trice Jr., Miles Killebrew, Juan Thornhill. Yeah, these are names that I very much expect to be a part of this plan as well. Like that, it's always important to have your second strings get as much exposure. But yeah, the starting lineup looks pretty darn strong. That should be the most important part of this team. That's what we've been known for a long time. And I very much would like to see this team get back into that particular style of play. So let's move on to the offense. Now with the offense, it's a little different. The starting quarterback naturally will be Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say it full-heartedly. Again, like, I know that I've had my issues with it. I'm going to accept this. Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback. Now, I would like to see those results. I would like to see those. There's not going to be a single issue with Aaron Rodgers in terms of his performances. I don't want to see that he's not going to hit his targets. I don't want to see that the guys weren't open. I don't want to see that there's glaring issues with the game call or the playmaking. Like, I don't want to see that, Arthur Smith is saying one thing and he's doing another. That cannot be the case with this situation, because we've had so many quarterback problems ever since Ben started getting old in 2017. We haven't had the solidified quarterback play. It's just, it needs to be addressed. And I have every ounce of hope that this is going to be the case, because why would this 41 turn 42-year-old guy come back if he was not going to be an essential part of this offense, an essential part to making this offense better and improved? I just really hope that this is the case with Aaron. We don't know what's going to happen with a guy that old, but everything so far has been pointing that he is ready to go, that there's no issues in terms of his attitude, in terms of the play calling. Seems like everything is ready to go. And I'm hopefully that's the case, because it would be nice to see a guy like TJ finally get a chance to have a Super Bowl, Cam Hayward to have a Super Bowl. There have been a lot of players on this team that for years have earned that right. Now, can we say that these guys have shown up in the postseason? I'd like to think Cam Hayward have said that, but TJ, yes, with health issues and a combination of just a lack of real numbers, like that they have not truly earned that spot yet. This year is going to be the ultimate test for that, because they have a lot of things answered. There's a lot of great names. There's a lot of great names in this team between defense and offense, special teams. I mean, guys like, shoot, I just lost the name. Chris Boswell, my goodness, I just totally forgot the kicker. But Boz, I mean, he has definitely put this team on his shoulders as a kicker for how many seasons? Like, a lot of things have happened because of Chris Boswell. He won us that Baltimore game solely on his kicking. So it's important for guys like that who have really put in all the numbers to really finally get a chance to show what they can do in the postseason. So Aaron Rodgers, he is going to be that guy to do it. I would have liked to have seen Mason finally get that opportunity, but I know Aaron Rodgers is well established and he can do a lot of things. So we're just going to have to see what goes on. So moving on to the running back, Jaylen Warren has been named the starter for wide receiver 1, DK Metcalf. I cannot stress how much I am looking forward to seeing this guy in black and gold on that field. This is going to be the superstar we have been waiting for since Hines Ward. I mean, it's been a long time. Antonio Brown had a lot of flashy years. He absolutely has been one of the better stories, numbers-wise, for the Steelers for a long time. But you think of, like, wide receiver name, Hines Ward to me was like that guy you always just put on the pedestal. He just embodied Pittsburgh. He really understood how to play that position. He had such great presence. And, yeah, I mean, Antonio Brown had great numbers, but the personality really did show. And I know that DK has his on-field issues, but that is just more performance. It's not off-field. It's not like an attitude, truly. I truly believe that we could have ourselves a guy that could pose himself to be the best player in terms of wide receiver position since Hines Ward. It's going to be fun to watch him this year. Robert Woods as a WR2, just by paper, I can understand that. Calvin Austin being the third, yeah, I mean, I understand. But, of course, the name you're looking at is Roman Wilson. If Roman can be WR3 or Woods can be WR3 and maybe Roman can sneak into like a WR2 situation, these three guys between Roman, Robert, and Calvin, I mean, Calvin's 5'9", 165. I mean, that's a very small, that's electric. That's really fast and, that's agility. But, man, that's going to hurt if it hits you. I mean, Roman, I think, is 5'10", 5'11". I know Robert Woods is over 6 foot tall, but, yeah, it's interesting to see what the WR2 situation is. They can still go out and get somebody. I don't know really who's available outside of Cooper or Lazard. But yeah, it's definitely a question as to what is going to be the plan for that. Seeing that, I personally think that they need to go and get a WR2, and maybe they're just going to use a bunch of the tight ends for that situation. I don't know, but I personally think that's where they should go with that. Keeping in mind that a guy like Robert Woods is just kind of a security thing. Maybe Roman Wilson steps up and it's Calvin Austin as WR3 as well. I mean, it's a possibility, but I just don't see how that's going to be the most effective. That's the one real weakness outside of, maybe knowing what the offensive line is going to do, that's really the only real question that the Steelers have going into the season. But looking at tight end, Pat Freiermuth, please, I am begging Arthur Smith, please start using this tight end. I know people don't think he is the most reliable guy, but the fact that we have the Muth chance that we can't say because the guy never really gets the ball, I understand that's a he thing. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of this really underlying maybe reason why they don't do it, because maybe we chant the same thing that we did for Heath, and maybe they don't like that we do that. I don't know. I just feel like that's the only reason as to why Pat doesn't get involved more. And him and Darnell Washington, for God's sakes, he is Mount Washington. He is so tall. He's so big and athletic. The fact that these two guys got a quarterback that knows how to throw in the middle of the field has got to be a relief. And please just start using the middle of the field. I can't stress it enough. For this season, please start utilizing the middle of the field and opening it back up. Please. This just needs to start being a huge help to the offensive side of the ball. It's really been the glaring issue for a long time. There's just been some sort of fear that these guys refuse to throw into the middle of the field because they don't have the kind of bravery or the, guts to do it. But this is Aaron Rodgers. This guy has been doing it for a long time, and it should have opened it up. And I think that Pat and Darnell are going to be the biggest beneficiaries to him being on this team. So being fullback, Connor Hayward, great. I mean, I don't think they're going to use that a whole lot. But with the line, this is, of course, the glaring thing. The biggest priority is the offensive line. Being Broderick Jones, left tackle, left guard being Isaac Seumalo, center being Zach Frazier, does a great job. And even his backup, Ryan McCollum, he did a great job last year when he went down for a while. And then you had Mason McCormick at right guard and right tackle, Troy Fautanu. Stay healthy the whole season, and it should be solidified. This guy was billed as just as good as Broderick, if not better. So I personally think that knowing that Broderick has a lot to prove this season, that is the big glaring question. Can this guy finally start giving them the pass protection and everything that they need for him to do? And they're going to need it for this year because, again, 41-year-old guy being your quarterback, you got to protect this guy. It's so important that they do something and have this kind of line. I mean, this line has been now in the conversation with each other for 3 years now. They've been with the Steelers now together for at least 3 seasons, all of them. So, I mean, maybe 2 with Zach, but other than that, everyone should be ready to go. I mean, Troy, he had the one game. I think he did pretty good, but that was only the sample. And then we got to make sure that we stay healthy. That's really the big question with this whole season coming up. So with halftime, I guess what you're looking at for the subject is just preparing for this season, going into it. I mean, the priorities of their future with Mike Tomlin. I know that we have been on this guy for a while because, again, the results have been what they've been. They have not won a playoff since 2017. We keep repeating this over and over again. We just want to see success in the postseason. This team does have so many questions answered, but at the same time, they have to have these new guys like Troy, like Derek, and seeing if guys like Peyton and Keanu can step up. They have a lot of improving to do. They've answered questions, but they still have to keep getting the right answer. That's really what this all comes down to. And everything else, it should be answered. It should be ready to go. And I don't see any reason as to why this team cannot be, once again, a 10-6 or 10-7 or 11-6 team. I know that the Ravens are going to always be relevant in this division, and teams like the Bengals have offensive power, juggernaut. They've got a system with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They've got answers. And I know that the Browns, they're going to always maybe have an issue to be a deal, or I don't know. They just have so many. They're just the Browns. That's really what it comes down to. They just do not ever answer their questions. They just are going to always be the Browns. Can't say more about that. So I guess for my 2-minute warning, what we're going to be looking at for this 2025 season, again, we have the opponents that we have. I know we have big games like the Lions and the Bills. I know we have the Ireland game against the Vikings, and the Vikings were a surprisingly good team, but that was with Sam Darnold, and they didn't want to keep him, so they got J.J. McCarthy. Maybe that would be a thing you take advantage of. I don't know. I know that we have our division. We have the schedule we have. It should be a much, much better setup, and I feel like what you're looking at for this team, it should be better. It should answer a lot of questions. It should be ready to go. And I know that we still have a month before the preseason stuff. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be taking a break from the Steelers. Again, I'm just setting everything up for this coming year. And I will be back probably by next month, by mid-July, to like really break down the season, really get the schedule going, give my predictions on it all, and I that's pretty much my game plan for that, guys. So I will see you guys probably next month, and if there's any big news, like if we do get a WR2, I will come on and address any breaking news or any kind of news that comes on. So that's going to be it for me with this, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I really enjoy doing this with you guys, and let's go Steelers. Here we go.